Hi guys, it's Deidre from our Upcycled Life and welcome to my channel. I'm inside my workshop today and I'm working on some salt wash paint, and I decided I wanted to make a really beachy feel color for this brand new piece of pine to make this sign. So today I have a step-by-step tutorial on how to make this paint to achieve this chippy layered look that you can put underneath your graphics. Super simple, super easy, and you probably already have all the stuff that you need in your house. So if you like thrifting, DIYs, and repurposing, you've come to the right place, and we'd love to have you follow along. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any great content. I'm also going to put the link below for my Facebook and my Instagram because I'm posting there every day lots of DIYs that I don't make videos of, so you won't miss anything that I'm making. Okay, let's get started. This is brand new pine that I've stained with the Minwax Black Walnut. And now I've painted both the boards with 2 coats of my homemade chalk paint. I'll put a link below in the description for my recipe for the homemade chalk paint. It works really well for these signs. And I'm just going to take my sander. This is an 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to really rough up the edges so you can see the black walnut stain come through on the corners and the edges. I'm making 2 of these signs, so that's why I have the 2 pieces of board that I'm prepping right now. And these are all the products that I'm going to use. I'm going to be using the acrylic paint from the dollar store, some pickling salt, some plaster of Paris, and some decoupage matte that is just like Mod Podge. Okay, I have the first color all mixed up into the salt wash paint. I'm going to put the recipe at the end of the video so you can screenshot it, or I'll also put it in the description so you can see it there, so you have the measurements on how to mix it. The trick with this is to make sure that you don't use brush strokes. You just want to dab up and down all over the whole board where you would like that color to show through. If you do paint strokes, it will just paint your whole board blue or whatever color you're using by dabbing up and down. Wherever there's salt, that will leave the color underneath it exposed when you sand it down. So that's what you want to make sure. Just you have your paintbrush straight up and down and just dab, and make sure it's quite thick. You don't want it thin. You want quite a bit of salt, and cover your whole board. You want to let it dry, and then you're ready for the second color. You're going to use the same technique, same recipe. Fill up your paintbrush and just dab the color all over the board where you want that color to show through. You don't have to use a whole bunch of colors. You can use 1 color, you can use 2 colors. I just kind of wanted to use the 3 colors and then the white on top, just because I wanted to get that beachy feel, kind of worn off paint look. You can also use any type of salt. You don't have to use the pickling salt. The difference that will make is the coarser the salt, the more texture, the more other layers you're going to have show through. You can actually just even use a household salt. You're just not going to have as much of a texture. And now we're ready for the yellow. When you're mixing up this recipe, make sure you only mix up enough that you're going to use on one project. It doesn't last very long. The salt actually starts to dissolve and it just doesn't have a very good shelf life. So just mix up. If you have a big project, you can double it, but just make sure that you're going to use it all up. And now I'm just the same technique, just going to dab it up and down all over the whole board. I love these colors together. It is going to look so neat when it's all sanded down. Last color, I'm going to put some white on top of it, and so I'm actually using 4 colors, I guess, and that should wrap it all up. And you're making sure in between each coat that you make sure that the paint dries thoroughly before you put the next color on. And this is what your piece of wood looks like with all 4 coats of your salt wash paint. It's pretty just like it is. Okay, now comes the fun part, to sand and sand and sand. I'm using an 80 grit. It's really coarse, and I have a mask on. Make sure you're wearing a mask because it's messy and there's dust everywhere. This is not a project that you want to do in your house. If you've got somewhere outside and it's well ventilated, that's the best place to do this step. And as you start to sand and you're taking down that salt wash paint, you'll start to see all the different layers and all the colors show through. It's such a cool technique. And look at all that texture. It's just amazing. Okay, now I've just put the graphics on using the decoupage mat, and I'll put a link below in the description. I have quite a few tutorials on how I make my graphics, and you can go back and pick one that you'd like to see. I have a lot of step-by-step tutorials in there that will take you and guide you right through the step-by-step. So now I'm ready to remove the paper from my graphics and expose my beach sign. Now to seal this, because it is going to be outside, I'm using this Krylon lacquer. It has a bit of a gloss finish to it, but I love the way that it turned out. This created an amazing layered chippy look on a brand new piece of pine. I hope this has inspired you to make your own salt wash paint, and thanks for watching. Have a great day.